Hello and welcome to the latest instalment in my Bass Lick of the Week series. Before we dive into the line itself, please hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. So this week's exercise is a fingerstyle line, but it's going to be incorporating a lot of harmonics which are going to be used to reinforce the harmony. And this is a fairly unique way of using the fingerstyle technique, and it's possibly something that you won't have done before. So we're in the key of E minor, and we're going to open up with this figure. Just going to play 2 E's at the 7th fret of the A string and then follow that with an open E. Now we're going to let that open E continue to ring, whilst on beat 2 we're going to play 2 harmonics together. So we've got the F sharp harmonic at the 4th fret of the D string, and then we've got a G harmonic at the 5th fret of the G string. Now one thing to mention here is that harmonics at the 5th fret don't have the same pitches as the frets that they live above. So whereas at the 4th fret you have that F sharp harmonic and it is an F sharp note, with the 5th fret we have a G harmonic. It's actually the same note as that G all the way up there, but the fretted note would be a C. So just a little bit different at the 5th fret, something to bear in mind. So we've got the sound of a G harmonic and an F sharp harmonic ringing together, and you get a really dissonant sound because it's a minor second interval. But when you pair that with the low E bass note, you get the G, which gives you a minor third, so it gives you that E minor sound, and then the F sharp gives you the added 9. It's a really nice sound. That's the kind of sound that we're after, that kind of E minor 9 sound. Now the tricky thing with this line is when you play the next figure, you want to try and keep those harmonics ringing as much as you possibly can. So the line that we're playing here is, so we're just playing on the D, 3 notes on the D, there's a bit of a syncopated rhythm, come down onto the B on the E string, and that's D, D sharp and E. Now to play that, you're going to need to curl your fingers over a little bit more to try and let those top 2 strings continue ringing underneath. You might not be able to get them to ring all the way through the bar, but that's what you should be aiming for. It could be really quite tricky to do. That's the first bar of the line. Quite a challenging thing to do. In the second bar, we're going to do the same thing. And then in the third bar, we're going to change to a different chord. So now we're playing over a C major 7 add 9, or C major 9 sound, I should say. Play a C bass note, that same kind of rhythm there. And then we're going to play these 2 harmonics. We've got the G harmonic on the G string again, and we've got a D harmonic. That gives us that 9th. When I was talking about the chord a moment ago, C major 9, the keyboard part in the background is playing a C major 7 chord, so that kind of a sound. And because we're playing the 9 as our harmonics, giving it a 9th as well. And then we've got a similar kind of syncopated line. So back onto that C, and then we're going to play open E onto the G, open A onto the C. And again, you want to keep those harmonics ringing whilst you play that. It's a little bit easier to do that in this context. And you can hear how full that sounds once you get to the end of that bar. We're going to do a similar thing in the 4th bar of the exercise. So back down, or down half step to a B. And then we've got 2 harmonics, F sharp and B harmonics, 4th fret. And this time, the lick that we're going to be playing is just going to be alternating between an open A string and the D sharp. And you want those harmonics to continue ringing whilst you're playing that line, of course. Now, what's happening harmonically here is we're getting the sound of a B dominant 7th chord. Now, just in what we've got there, we've got a root note, a 5th, and an octave, so just a B power chord so far. as soon as we introduce that open A, that gives us a 7. And then we've got the D sharp, which gives us the major third of the chord. Getting a kind of a B7 over D sharp sound there, sort of first inversion sound. That takes you really, really nicely back up to E so that you can repeat the line. Now, one thing I'll say at this point is when you play this line through for the second time and you come into an end, if you can keep those harmonics ringing as you move to the E at the very end, that's going to sound really nice, because the B is obviously the 5th of the E minor chord, and the F sharp gives you that added 9th again. So when you play that through for a second time, try and keep those harmonics ringing even as you move to that final E bass note. That's going to sound really nice if you can do that. Okay, so a fairly tricky exercise to play, as I said right back at the beginning. One of the hardest things with this really is just keeping those harmonics ringing as you're curling your fingers around and playing those low bass licks in the first couple of bars. Really quite challenging to do. Now, in terms of the tone that you're going to need to use on a line like this, you're going to need to heavily favour your bridge pickup, which is what I'm doing here. I've got a fairly bright sound, tone controls all the way up, and I'm using my bridge pickup almost exclusively. Bridge pickup will allow those harmonics to really, really speak out much stronger than they would if you were just using the neck pickup. Bridge pickup is much, much better for harmonics, so try and use the bridge pickup, and you'll hear those harmonics jump out a lot more clearly. Take your time with this one, have fun with it, and I'll see you in next week's exercise. Thanks for checking out the latest instalment in my Bass Lick of the Week series. If you'd like to download the PDF worksheet and audio files for this exercise, just click on the link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this lesson, please head over to basslinepublishing.com to check out my full range of video courses. Okay, I'll see you next week for another bass groove.